Every single season, there are new upcoming players that take over the NBA media. The spotlight stays with the superstars and branches out to new breakout players. As the attention gets taken away, it leaves a bunch of players behind. Some of these players deserve more attention, but aren't getting it. Whether it's their boring playstyle or being in a small market, they're just flying under the radar. So today, we are going to highlight the 6 most underrated players in the NBA and give them the attention they deserve. The first underrated player that I want to talk about is Desmond Bane. Right now, the Grizzlies just passed the Warriors and are the 2nd seed in the West. Ja Morant has risen to an all-star and is sneaking into MVP and superstar conversations. He has been one of the most electrifying players in the league and is so fun to watch. Even though the Grizzlies are a small market, Ja Morant has been all over the media. He is in the media, but the Grizzlies, not so much. Desmond Bain has been one of the best players on the Grizzlies after Ja. Who's the second best player? Most people would say Jaren Jackson Jr., but Desmond Bain is right after him if he's not already second. He has averaged 18 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists a game on 46, 42, 91 shooting splits. He is really strong, and his defense has been huge for Memphis this season. Although he might not be the front runner, no one is talking about his most improved player of the year case. This is how much his stats have improved from last season. Last year, Desmond Bain was a 3-and-D player for the most part, but this season, he has improved past that. He still shoots the 3 ball at above 40% and still plays great defense, but he also does more than that. He is an efficient 3-level scorer and has a perfect role in Memphis. He can put his head down and score if the team needs him to, or he can take a step back and stretch the floor and cut to the basket. The second player I want to mention today is Dejante Murray. He is a player that has been underrated his whole life. He grew up in a tough situation, went to the University of Washington, was drafted with the 29th pick in 2016, and now he's an all-star. His story is absolutely incredible, but just because he was named an all-star this year doesn't mean he got his flowers. Dejante has been on the come-up for years, and this season he has broken out. He is averaging 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists, and 2 steals a game this year on 47% from the field and 31% from 3. He is also a good defender, but not as good as he was last year. In 2018, he made an all-defensive team and kept up that play until last year. After DeRozan got traded, he has been the first option on the Spurs and has to take on a bigger load on offense, so he can't focus as much on defense. He is able to explode for a 25-point triple-double on any given night and has been a bright spot on the Spurs. Murray is able to score the ball very well, but struggles from 3. He can make open threes, but he mainly likes to cut to the basket or shoot it in the mid-range. The most underrated aspect of his game is his playmaking. He is 3rd in the league in assists per game, and the fact that he doesn't have elite players to pass the ball to, that says a lot. The third player I want to acknowledge is Cole Anthony. On the rebuilding Orlando Magic team, Cole Anthony has been their best player. He is the on-court leader of the team and often closes out games for them. Anthony was an underrated player as a rookie, and this season, his leap has been pretty significant. He went from 13 points a game to 17.5, 15 rebounds to 6, 4 assists to 6 assists. His shooting percentages haven't been that good so far, but he does show a good scoring ability and isn't in the shot-chucking type of way. His defense hasn't been good at all, but his offense definitely outweighs that. He is in his 2nd season in the league, and if he was a rookie, he would be getting Rookie of the Year love. His production has been really underappreciated, and so are the Orlando Magic. There are other underrated players on the team like Wendell Carter Jr. or Franz Wagner, but I believe Cole Anthony has been the most overlooked. The fourth player I want to talk about is Bobby Portis. He is a role player, and I don't think he could play his role any better than he has been doing this season. Brook Lopez has been injured all season, DeMarcus Cousins was waived, and the Bucks in general don't have a lot of center depth. Portis has played power forward his entire career, except for the last 2 seasons with the Bucks. He is averaging a career high in points and rebounds this season on 49% shooting from the field and 42% from 3. That's why he's so effective when playing with Giannis. He's able to stretch the floor, rebound well, play decent defense, and can give you a little bit of scoring as well. Through the ups and downs of Milwaukee's season, Bobby Portis has been one of the most reliable and consistent players on the team. The fifth player I want to give credit to is Anthony Simons. Before this season, he was known as a role player on the Blazers and was some dude that won the dunk contest in 2021. But no one, and I mean no one, could have expected what happened this season. Damian Lillard was playing through an abdominal injury and was in a terrible shooting slump, and then he got season-ending surgery and CJ McCollum got traded. This was great for Anthony because of two things. One, since Dame and CJ weren't playing, he would have the ball in his hands more and he could show what he's capable of. And two, the Blazers didn't have any playoff aspirations after that, so they weren't afraid to try new things. For the season, he has good stats of 17, 3, and 4, but after the new year, he has been a whole new player. Since January 3rd, he is averaging 23 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists a game on 46, 42, 87 shooting splits. That is all-star caliber numbers, and no one is talking about it. The last player that I'm going to talk about in this video is Jakob Pertl. Like Dejante Murray, he plays on the Spurs and is a very underrated player. He is everything you could need from a center. He puts up 14, 9, and 3 on 62% shooting. He can score the ball, rebound well, his passing is good for a center, and he's very consistent. Jakob Pertl has made a pretty big leap this season, but the media doesn't reflect that. He has a boring play style. He isn't going to make highlight plays, but he usually makes the right play, and that's what's important. He is 26 years old, so he isn't old by any means, but he won't be on the same timeline as a team that just started rebuilding. That's why I'm surprised a contender didn't trade for him. He's on a pretty good contract, and he's making under $9 million a year. I'm sure the Spurs would accept the trade if there was a solid young player and a future first-round pick involved. He's very portable and can serve similar value on almost any team. He is everything you could need from a center and completes my list for the most underrated players in the NBA right now. To recap, these are the 6 players that I believe are the most underrated and deserve more praise. But something you might not have noticed is that all these players have come from small markets. Memphis, San Antonio, Orlando, Portland, and Milwaukee are the franchises these players come from. The media often doesn't talk about small market players because it isn't good for business. It will get a lot more clicks if you talk about what's going on with the Lakers or Knicks compared to an okay team in a small market. Also, if you have a boring play style, people aren't going to repost your highlights and you just don't get seen as much. Being underrated can be tough because you aren't getting the praise you deserve, but it can be good. I would much rather be the player that surprises everyone than the player that underperforms. Even though we might have similar value, my expectations aren't as high, so it's a lot easier for me to play up to my expectations. Plus, who doesn't love a good underdog story? I hope you enjoyed today's video. I read every single comment, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe for future basketball content, and thank you for watching.